So handling people's emotions is one of the most important parts about leading a crew. You have to be self-aware in order to know how to handle other people. If we're telling people that crews are safe spaces for them to be themselves, then we have to pay attention to how we handle emotions during crew time and even after crew time. Being emotionally aware is so much about how you handle your own emotions and how you handle other people's emotions. So number one is being self-aware. Being self-aware pretty much means that you know how to handle your own emotions. You have to know how to recognize your triggers. We all have triggers, we all have a past, we all had an upbringing that affected the way that we deal with people. So leaders always evaluate themselves first. You cannot point the finger at other people and how they deal with life when you aren't even aware of how you deal with life, right? So leaders always look at themselves first. Number two is self-management. So what do I mean by that? You have to know how you deal with it. What are your triggers? What are you uncomfortable talking about? Are you someone who's very emotional? Are you not emotional? Are you empathetic naturally? Are you not? Are you very in tune with your emotions? Some people are natural criers, right? Other people, are the ones that you say something to them and then they have like a blank stare. It's like, do you even know? But again, these are all small emotional cues that you have to be able to discern through and say, you know what, maybe I am a crier. Maybe I don't handle emotions well. Maybe I'm someone who naturally shuts down in an emotional situation or when I feel vulnerable. So self-management is really about asking yourself, how do I react in situations that deal with people? Number three is social awareness. Obviously in a crew setting, it's a small space with people, and people are messy, which means that situations that can be emotional or are emotional will come up during crew time. If we are believing that God's presence is what is hosted first, right? Then we have to believe that breakthrough is going to take place during our gatherings. And if breakthrough's taking place, we are triune beings. You do have a mind, you do have emotions. We can expect nights to be deeper than others, or for people to have a reaction to what is going on in the room. So being socially aware is about recognizing how others are reacting, and being in tune with different personalities. Understanding that it's not about someone dealing with things emotionally the way that you deal with them, but what is the root of what's really going on. Which leads me into number four, which is we should always be growing and getting better at our social and relational skills. What do I mean by that? Being emotionally mature or having good emotional intelligence, it is about feeding ourselves the tools and the skills that we need to be to deal with people better, to approach people better, to love people better. We have to be intentional about figuring out what our weaknesses are and what our strengths are in order to create the kind of crew environment that we want to create, which is hopefully a space where people feel safe to share and to grow and to learn. An example of that. So I'm someone who I'm naturally not a crier. I usually internalize what I'm dealing with emotionally. But I've had to learn over the years working with people that by being someone who their face expression is more reserved, I can come off as someone who isn't empathetic or someone who doesn't understand or sympathize with where a person is. So I've literally had to train myself in being more present physically in my appearance with people. It doesn't take away the fact that I know I love people and I have a heart for people, but what am I saying even with my physical, right? Even with my facial expressions? Am I showing this person that I am present with them? Regardless if I am or not, is that the impression that I'm putting on that person? And so these are all small details that we need to consider when we're dealing with people in crews, right? People are trusting you with their business, with their life. And so is what you're saying with your face or with your words or with your countenance, are you saying, I love you? Do you know what I mean? I'm here for you. I support you. I want to do this thing with you. I want to walk whatever you're going through out alongside you. So that's what I mean by social relational skills. Am I aware enough about myself to grow in the areas that I need to grow while still loving people to the best of my abilities?